out.
This shit gets me so fucking hyped, bro.
You're afraid. I can make myself from the devil. You've been at it for years, but couldn't reach the next level. Let's keep it free. This is a competition to me. And if everyone around you acts like they don't say, with anyone else, let's say, side out of mind is what you always be.
Shit goes so hard, bro.
Harder than this, man. Pause.
Get the fuck over it. Can't waste my time on it for people like you. So keep wishing you and I'll keep making you have to.
Oh shit, this is the comrades right here, folks. Bro, I'm
fucking right, yo. Let's do this.
Oh, by the way, we letting this whole song rock, bro.
This song goes so hard, man.
Welcome those of you who are coming in. We're jamming. And welcome to that explosive fucking intro to the Contemporary Comrades podcast. It's your boy Heavy J, man. We're if you couldn't tell, we're pretty fucking excited to podcast tonight. So,
yeah.
If you weren't in here to see Korn's fucking pretty much solo mosh, when you rewatch this, because I know you will, you gotta go back and watch that shit.
Let's see from you. That album is so fucking. That album and Homesick are their two best albums.
Yeah, I agree.
Fuck.
Shout out to A Day to Remember.
Shout out.
Good tunes.
Best concert I've been to.
Yeah. Oh well. For me,
that Axe Alexandria. I forgot. Yeah, that's right. Those two, man.
And that Asking concert we went to was dope. Were you talking about that? Yes. The one specifically that we went to?
Yeah.
That was good, man.
Those two were the best, man.
Audio Strobe Light, little local group.
Yep.
They were dope. I got put on an Emmy. That was a good fucking. That was a
Devil
good fucking.
Prada.
Yep. Devil's Wear Prada. Yep.
Some hardcore.
Damn, I forgot
shit,
they were at that. Damn.
Hardcore
Crazy
shit, man.
Shit, back when back in the before times.
Yeah.
Man, well, we have a great fucking show for you all tonight. We got some topics lined up. We actually have quite a few topics that we kind of want to touch on. We're going to talk about, is reality a simulation? Yes, we've already done a 2-hour podcast on this, but we have to revisit it because I think that, I don't know if our opinions will necessarily change, but I think there's better evidence for one side or the other, right? Especially what's happening right now. And the things that have happened since we even did that cast. And then we're going to go into, Spotify, getting patents for weird shit. They're getting Tom Brady getting ridiculed for winning a Super Bowl.
For doing what he does best.
Tom Brady being Tom Brady. I don't know, man. Whatever. Yeah, man. But before we even get into any of those topics, Korn, I had a random question for you. Now, I was having a private conversation with somebody off air, and we both happened to forget what, it was something important that one of us wanted to say, but we both forgot what we were going to say. Well, that person forgot what they were going to say after they'd already said it. So like it already been, into reality. It already been introduced as a thought into the world, right? As energy.
Yeah.
That person forgot. I heard it and I forgot too. So I was like, damn, what happens when you lose an idea? Like if only two people know about the idea, one spoke it, both of them heard it, but then they both forgot. Where do you think that idea goes? It's a fucking out there kind of topic, but do you think it just gone whatever, or do you think it like actually goes somewhere, or do you think it's still in someone's brain in some aspect? Or
not to get too cartoonish, but I would probably think it would be like a kind of like a thought bubble, like when you're reading a comic or something like that, and it has like those little thought bubbles. Sometimes, like maybe it just goes away. I mean, there are times where it comes back, right? Where
Sure.
Those thoughts come back or those questions come back. But yeah, that's a weird one. That's one I never really I never really stopped to think about. But yeah, I would assume that it's kind of like a thought bubble. It just goes away. And if it comes back, it's like a stray dog. It either goes away and comes back, or that thing's gone forever.
Yeah. Okay. I see. That's cool. Cause I was thinking like, I was going in like if it's an idea or something, it was energy. Since it was spoken out, I guess that energy would transfer somewhere and go somewhere. And I was thinking of like maybe it's still being stored in your subconscious mind, or no, I think that person had mentioned that actually. And then I was looking up like thermodynamics and laws of energy and shit. Like, where could this? I went a little overboard with it, but ended up pretty much coming to that conclusion. It's pretty much just gone. That is what it is. Like, so. But I just wanted to ask you what you thought about that, because I was like, I want to record things. But
yeah,
you
have a pet, and some of these owners are stupid enough to just open up their front door and just let their pet just roam the fucking streets and think it's gonna come back. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't, and I think that's the way those thoughts are.
Yeah, fair enough. Well, do you want to go ahead and lead us into the simulation being reality being simulation? Yay, nay, all things in between.
So yeah. So about 2 years old. We've been on this podcast over 2 years, right? 18?
Yeah, man.
All right. So this is well over 2 years then at this point, since we've done the simulation episode, right?
Yeah, man.
We visited. So the reason why we're revisiting this whole topic of reality possibly being a simulation is a simulation. I believe. I haven't listened to that episode in a very long time, so I can't fully remember. But I believe that we all agreed that we don't believe that it is, but it could be. There's a possibility that it could be. And the reason why I wanted to revisit it is because of everything that's going on now in the world. A lot of people really acting like they are a simulation, or at least a part of a simulation. And I mean, it's funny. While it is funny, but like at the same time, it's like, man, it's really alarming. It's really concerning to see the way people react to certain situations. And like I say all the time, this is something where we're all so desensitized in one area, but not desensitized in another. And that's where I draw the concern. That's where I'm like, whoa, we got to take a step back. I mean, just like some of the topics we're talking about tonight, especially with the whole Tom Brady thing. It's like, how are we so sensitive in one area? I mean, how are we so not sensitive in one area, but we're so sensitive in an area that we know clearly does not mean anything? It's but we'll get more into that, once we get to that topic. But I wanted to revisit this topic because just of recent events within the past 12 months, and the way everyone's acted, the way people have been treating each other, the way people have about their business, the way people have quote unquote hustled, and in this whole entire planet. I wanted to go back and revisit that question: is reality a simulation? And I wanted to start off by saying, while I do not believe that we are personally a simulation, because I do believe that while you could get really deep into it and probably kind of raise a question like, oh, maybe our brains are actually on a simulator and our bodies aren't, or maybe our brains are making all of this up and everything is an illusion. You could get really deep into that. But I'm not trying. That's not the reason why I want to revisit it. The reason I wanted, like, what I wanted to actually start this off with is maybe, and I'm not saying that we're a simulation to God and what we think is God, and who we all, believe to be would be God if we do believe that. If, for the people who do believe that. But what if the entire world is under one simulator? Meaning, which I know kind of sounds the same as life being a simulation. But what if we're all put on the same simulator under like one entire simulator, and one person is not necessarily controlling us, but actually watching us as maybe not entertainment, but just to see how it is. Like, how we get on computer and we watch things and we see things. Hell, now on our phones and on TVs now and stuff like that. Like, what if people are doing that with our own lives, but they can't control it? We're just on this simulator, just going round and round and round, kind of like rats in a maze. You hear the whole thing of like, the rat or the mouse in a maze, the field mouse, right? So what if we could possibly be under one uncontrolled simulator?
Interesting. And do you think that simulator is essentially churning because of what we call like human nature and like evolution or human like advancement, I guess you could say? Like, do you think that that's just like the simulator, like just naturally evolving on its own? Like, because you could look at it like that.
I think that we could be under. You know what? I'm gonna say yes, a little. Now, again, like, I'm not trying to confuse people with this, but at the same time, like, because I'm still trying to figure out what I believe to be or could be real, being a
Okay.
part of a simulator. Because again, I do believe in us having souls, and like our souls really do. Because if we were under a simulator, we wouldn't be able to think for ourselves. But honestly, now because I said that 2 years ago. But now, 2 years later, I'm like, what if we can think for ourselves because our soul is ours. But what if all of this could really be an illusion? Because, and the only reason why I'm asking it, I never thought I'd ever ask, all of life on Earth really be a simulation? But I haven't really raised that question. I haven't really thought about that question until now, until after all of this stuff has happened. And I'm like, there's no way that two dudes sitting on a podcast are sitting here and predicting the future, and all of this shit is coming to fruition, unfortunately.
Right.
And no one else is like, I'm like, there's no way that no one else is. And I'm not saying we're the only two people in the whole entire world is thinking about this kind of stuff, but honestly, we don't see many other people, not even close to many other people, talking about this kind of stuff, doing this kind of stuff, thinking about this kind of stuff, predicting the kind of stuff that we predicted. And just seeing the way people reacting to stuff, it's just like people are clamoring for the cancellation to this person, or clamoring for the job of this person, or clamoring for this person to be booted and banned from life in general. Like, to me, it's just crazy how much we want to control other people's lives when we can't even control our own. I could never understood that. That's why I wanted to revisit this entire fucking topic of it, because to me, it's alarming. It's very concerning, the fact that we could essentially destroy someone's life by a click of a button. And I never thought, growing up, I never thought we'd ever have that power. Never. Even when Facebook first came out, I never thought we'd ever have that kind of power. Again, we were only what, 8th grade when it came out or something. So like, again, like we don't fully, you know what I mean? You don't fully think about that kind of stuff. You just thinking, okay, social media, I can hang out with my friends, you know, I can talk to chicks that I'm afraid to talk to in real life and just DM them, whatever. But like as you get older, you become an adult and you start thinking about this kind of stuff. And you start seeing all this stuff happening. Not even in the world, but just in our own country, in our own states, in our own cities and counties. And you're seeing how people are reacting, and they're not reacting the way that you would think that we should and could react. And I'm like, there's no way that people are not comprehending this. There's no way that people are not understanding what is really going on and what they're really doing to us, what's really happening to us. I never, and again, this isn't to me, this is more of a what's the term for it? More of a
Theoretical.
yeah. I mean, but more of a an awareness, you know, a raising awareness type of thing with me at this point. It's like I really need to talk about this because it's been on my line. It's been on my mind for at least a couple weeks at this point now, where I'm like, we're probably on some kind of simulation. And I never thought I'd ever say that. But I'm starting to, maybe I'm going crazy. I don't know. But I'm really, I mean, we have been cooped up for what, over a year at this point. But I mean, I could be crazy. I mean, that would not be far-fetched at all, honestly, for those for people who know me. So yeah, but at the same time, I'm like, look, man, being on a simulator is one thing, but actually being inside of a simulation where you can still think for yourself and you can still react. But I feel like at some point, it's going to come to a point where whoever's behind this whole simulation that we're theoretically behind, they're starting to poke their head. And once they start to poke their head, once we know that someone or something is behind the entire purpose of life, that's when we know it's going to be the end. And like I've said before, and it's very unfortunate that I'm saying this.
That was deep, bro.
It's very unfortunate. I know, but it's very unfortunate I'm saying this. But I've said it a million times on this podcast. This is the end, folks. This is the end. This is the end. And again, I'm not saying, you know, it's gonna happen this year or next year, but it's getting there because I'm starting to have this thing that whether it is a being or whether it is literally a simulation that we are all on, it's starting to poke its head, and it's starting to let us know that it is indeed controlling. Look at what they're coming out with. Look at the stuff that we're going to be talking about here in just a second. These topics that we have tonight.
Yep.
If that does not tell you that this simulation or the simulator is peeking its head, I don't know what is. I don't know what is. And again, I don't know. I just have this feeling inside of me where I'm like, I don't know. It's hard to explain, man. It really is. It's really tough to explain. That's why I was kind of apprehensive about bringing this up again on this podcast. But man, I don't know, man. Because again, all I know is that there is something telling me that like all this bullshit is going on, that everyone else is running around with their heads like their heads are chopped off, and I'm just standing around. Like I'm literally, it's like being inside of a room, and there's a party, and somebody goes into the party and pulls out a gun and starts shooting in the air and pointing around, and everybody's running around, and I'm just standing there, like I'm literally just standing there. And again, I'm not trying to be dramatic. I swear to God, I'm not trying to be dramatic. But I have this fucking feeling, bro. And I just thought, I don't know, man. I just thought I'd bring that up, just a little topic thingy, just to bring up and just let people know what's on my mind, man, in terms of all this stuff that's going on. Because I'm glad we're talking about this philosophical stuff. I really miss talking about this kind of stuff. But Yeah, man, it's not looking good. And at the same time, it's just like, I know we can think for ourselves because look at what we're doing right now, this very second. We're thinking for ourselves, we're talking for ourselves, we're doing stuff for ourselves. But it's getting to a point where I feel like this simulator is like, look, these people are thinking for themselves and are doing all this stuff. Like they're doing what, and not to bring attention to contemporary comrades, but they're doing contemporary, just to use us as an example, contemporary comrades, they're on to something. And there's little pockets of contemporary comrades all over the earth right now.
True.
That are speaking the truth, that are planting these seeds, and they're and this simulator is saying, look, I need to pick these seeds up out of the ground and toss them out before these shits start growing, because if they start growing, we're fucked. Well, our cover's blown. And then it's going to be entire earth thinking for themselves. And they're better off without me, the simulator, than they are with me. But I need to make them believe that they're better off with me than without me. And to me, as a human being, I'm just sitting here on earth like thinking like, fuck. Like granted, I'm not the best human being. I'm a piece of shit to an extent. But like, look, man, at the end of the day, I think for myself, and no matter what happens in life with me financially, economic, all this other stuff, at the end of the day, I can say, look, I speak for myself, I think for myself, and I'm not afraid to stand up for what I believe in. And it's getting to a point now to where it's really, really, really starting to hit home to me, where it's like, fuck. We really have to stand for what we believe in, because if not, like, and I'm not saying like, oh, we got to stand up for gun rights, we got to stand up for this. Like, I mean, just in general, as a human being, standing up for what you believe in, whatever it is. Because us as human beings, we're trying to silence each other, and we're not going to be ready for the great fight, the big fight, the great war between humanity and whatever else is coming. It's kind of like, and again, this might be a bad analogy, but it might not, or a metaphor, whatever you call it. Game of Thrones. They spent the entire series fighting each other until the last 5 episodes. And guess what happened in the last 5 episodes? Those, I forget what they call them. The Frost King showed up, right? The fucking Frost people that aren't human beings showed up, right? And they had to fight together to kill it. That's the way I look at it. It's like, look, man, we're sitting here killing each other, fighting each other, trying to destroy each other's dreams, trying to destroy each other's lives and shit like that. But it's like, fam, at the end of the day, we're not going to be able to team up together. We're not going to be able to stand together as humans and fight the great fight, because we're over here fighting about dumb shit. And I know we say that every single podcast, but this now is starting to make me think this could possibly be because we're under a simulator. We're inside of a simulation. Maybe not kind of simulator per se, because while that could be possible, and I would like to visit that as well someday, but I think we're under a different kind of simulator, and it's kind of, to me, it's very alarming. To me, it's like, fuck.
I have a thought. And by the way, that was an epic fucking rant.
It wasn't even a rant. Like I'm just like, I don't know,
epic,
man.
Not even a rant. You know what I mean? Epic, whatever. Epic set of thought that you just laid out right there.
Yeah.
Because you had me going like, yeah, you brought up like 8 other fucking things, and I want to fucking go what I want to talk about now. So I was looking at it this way, because when you hit me, when you was like, yeah, I'm trying to do this, I was like, all right, we'll do the simulation, revisit. And I was like, so then I was thinking, I was like, wait a minute, what if it has been a simulation this whole time, and now the shell is cracking, and now you can see that, oh shit, this is possibly a simulation, because like instead of looking at it like, I don't think it was, to, oh, now it definitely is. What if it's like it was the whole time, but now that it's cracking, now that this whole world that we've been pretty much, led into is getting, rear-ended or rear, or whatever the fuck you want to call it. We're doing a complete 180 in every single way. We're going into very swiftly the loss of individual privacy. And it's all being asked for and begged for. and provided by the fucking government and from major financial institutions, from major governments all over the world, major think tanks, all of them, everyone we talk about. Y'all see the videos? We just brought up one of them today, the IMF.
Great video, by the way.
Thank you. But yeah, so I'm definitely more on the yes, it's a simulation train than I was when we made the first video, because I kind of was on it anyway, but I kind of I guess was more reserved in my thought about it. Again, because of what's happened, what's been revealed, and it's all stuff that I already knew, but it was like there wasn't enough real world confirmation for that to really be kind of a viable thing that I would feel like was an actual thing. But I knew it in the back of my head that it was a possibility, and I was kind of looking for it.
Yeah.
When COVID hit and everything, it's just like, man, this is definitely like everything that I've seen and researched for the past fucking 10 years is just like unfolding right to fuck now. Like all of it. And it's all being revealed too. And it's just like, what the actual fuck? And then and then they're trying to demonize a group of people who don't even. It's look, man.
And the thing is, too, though,
what's that?
That we have to think about is well, I'll just say this. A few weeks ago, that's what kind of sparked it, was the whole like banning Trump for the. And again, I don't give a shit about Trump personally, or like not even but it's just like the fact that we're banning someone for what they believe in. And that's when I really started thinking about stuff like, we don't know the damage that we did as a society when we banned him from everything. Because although he wasn't the first person that's happened to, he was the biggest. Right. And when you do that to someone like him, whether a lot of people hated him or not, he was still the biggest American figure for the past 4 years. 5 years, something like that. When that happens, you know that they're going to come out with mass punishment for people that do shit like this, for people that say what they believe in. I do it all the time on Twitter. I can go through. I have an entire Twitter thread of interactions I've had with people on Twitter that have literally chastised me. They've tried to report me just for stuff that I believe in, just for me calling them out on their bullshit. I don't necessarily do it on Instagram as much, just because I'm tied to like, this podcast and other stuff, to where I try and keep that stuff off of Instagram, because it's mostly like pictures and stuff like that, because it's mostly for like promotions. But Twitter, I don't really use for promotion. I use that, to try and, just to see what's going on. And I call people out on their bullshit. Like, I'm not going to lie, I do it all the time. But, but when I see stuff like that, it's just people are literally, like you said, they're asking for censorship. They're asking to be spied on. They're asking for cameras to be invited into their homes. They're asking for these drones to fly over their houses and to watch them and to hear their every conversation, because they think it's cool. Or because they're like, oh, I have nothing to hide. Just because you have nothing to hide does not mean that you should want these things to happen.
Yeah, just be okay with that shit.
Because at the end of the day, I enjoy my privacy. It doesn't mean I do anything bad in my privacy. It's just that I enjoy my privacy. I enjoy being in the comfort of my own home. I enjoy just being alone sometimes, and we're getting to a point where you will never be alone, and it's scary and it's concerning. And I'm thinking to myself, like, how do we all agree on something like this? How do we all just accept being brainwashed so much? And as a mass majority, like, I don't understand it. And I said, there's only one way. There's only one way that we are all this brainwashed. There's only one way.
What way might that be?
And that's being inside of a simulation. That's literally like.
Hold on.
It's weird. It's weird how everything comes in a full circle. It's weird how I have not gone back and listened to the simulation episode that we've done.
I haven't either.
I want to say probably since I've uploaded it to YouTube, I believe was when I did that. But that was a while too. But like literally the past couple weeks, I've been like, wow, man, like could we be a part of a simulation because we're accepting the fact that we're asking to be controlled, when as a society we've never asked for that. Go back hundreds of years ago. This country was quote unquote built on not being controlled, built on quote unquote freedom. But how many people in 2021 can say that they've been asking for freedom? True freedom, though. Freedom of the mind.
Not a whole lot.
No matter whether physically, because black people been slaves and whatever, we weren't free physically, but we were still free mentally. And I see the word spiritually as Elise just commented. Spiritually, like we've been free. Everything has been maybe not religiously, but spiritually and mentally free for the most part, right? But now we're getting to a point where we're not. Now we're getting to a point where we are now mentally being controlled. And that's the one thing we never thought in a million years no one could ever control until now. Until now, Jay.
Well, I was actually now. Hey, what if it's
scary, dude. It's fucking scary. I'm not even afraid to admit it. It's fucking scary.
Look at it like this, though. What if we, as just the citizens, quote unquote, or whatever the fuck you want to call us, what if we are just the rats? Like we're just the rats, right? And the people who are the whatever's beings or whatever the hell that's actually controlling all this is creating this said simulation, right? And we know that all these mind control tactics exist. We know about MK Ultra. We know about neurolinguistic programming. We know about all these different methods that they use to control us. Ideological subversion. We know about all these things. All these different forms of government that we're slowly being ushered into. What if all that is just different forms of creating different simulations? So what if like right now they're just sort of morphing this simulation that we're in currently? So like now they're saying, okay, now they had their chance, and what if it was based off? Now, what if even more so? What if it was based off of some sort of inherent karmic pattern within the universe, which is saying, okay, these people on this planet under this simulation are going to face pretty much the demise of their society. Okay, now we'll morph it so that the next generation being whatever amount of time is now going to face, some sort of better karma, and they'll be able to have the most prosperous species that planet has ever, I guess housed or whatever. Like I don't know. I'm just talking out my ass here, kind of. But what if I'm just trying to play on that sort of it being a simulation theory. What type of simulation could it be? Like you know what I mean? But then you get into like how Elise just commented, which is a good comment, by the way. Shout out to Elise. She said, "How do you see religion fitting into the simulation theory?" I would see that fitting into the simulation theory as a tool, meaning to get people to think a certain way about something, so that they will be more comfortable with going along with the simulation, because they know at the end of the day they're going to go somewhere better. So they're just saying, okay, this is just part of this. This is just the world we live in. I've got God, or I've got whatever. But in reality, that's being used on them. It might be a real thing too. That this religion. I'm not saying it is or it isn't, but the way it's being used on them is them saying, we've got something to look forward to that's far better than this existence. So I'll focus on that, and just kind of let the simulation, if you will, that they may or may not be aware of, work on them, and they'll just kind of go along with it because it is what it is. So that's how I see it. What about you, Corn?
In terms of the religion fitting in a simulation,
yeah,
I don't know. That's a hard one. That's a tough one, because I think probably because all right, because the way I look at it is I believe in God a little bit. Like it's weird because I pray sometimes, whatever, but it's I don't look at God as all powerful and all good. because it's tough to have something like that. It's tough to have something like that. But in terms of religion fitting into the simulation theory, well, first of all, it depends on which simulation theory, because there's 1,000 simulation theories, I would think. But
How about ours?
but our simulation theory, I would say, unless so, all right, religion had to come from somewhere.
Yes, of course.
But yeah, man, it's tough because if you look at it this way, the creation of religion, I don't know where it came from, nor do I really care where it came from. But to answer Elise's question, if religion was created to be this prominent and important thing for everyone or for a certain group of people, someone had to have known that there is a simulator. Someone had to have known that there's someone or something that is controlling planet Earth. Period. Someone who has, whether they created the environment, whether they created planet Earth itself, a creator. I mean, it's just like playing a video game, right? Especially nowadays. In most video games, you have this thing called communities. So in a little community tab, a part of your video game, where you're playing Madden, where you're playing like 2K or WWE 2, any of these games, it has a community tab, which means it has people that upload things to the game, and you can download it from the user profile. So the user profile, they download it to the actual community online, and all you have to do is download the game. Basically, you go into 2K, you go into the community tab, you click on the community tab. You can either download something someone else has created or upload your own. And maybe, and I'm thinking in terms of religion, when it first started, maybe there were multiple quote unquote users or creators or quote unquote simulators to one entire simulation called planet Earth. Now, again, I could be completely wrong, but maybe that's too far-fetched. I have no idea. But to answer this question, that's what I believe how religion plays a part in this whole simulation theory is that there could be one simulator or one creator or user in this whole simulation, or there could be multiple. Because based off of religion, a lot of people from different parts they've created these different simulators, essentially, right? Or they've made up these different creators or simulators. And I think once you get to that point, it's taking away from what is actually happening. Now again, I'm not saying religion's bad or anything like that. I don't put too much stock into religion, just because that's just what I grew up on and was I mean, I don't know everything about every single religion or anything like that, or other different religions like that, but I knew, like, once I got to a certain age and to a certain mind state, I realized that religion is just not for me. Like, it's just, I can't put all my stock into one being, because let's say, a lot of people like playing it safe. They're like, oh, well, if I'm wrong, then I'm wrong. But if I'm right, I'll get to go to heaven and all stuff. But it's like, I can't, we're put on this earth. I feel like, simulator or not, right? Simulation or not, we are here for a reason. Maybe. Maybe.
I think so.
But
I think it could be. I think we could be.
I don't want, it's tough, because sometimes I think we are, and sometimes I don't think we are. Because I look at people that I've known that have lived lives, whether long or short, that have died or been killed or whatever. And it's like, man, what do they have to show for it? And it's, for some of them, it's nothing. And I'm like, there's no way that we're all put on here for a reason. And it's just like, this person had nothing to show for it. You know what I mean? Like, it's crazy. And I know it sounds like a shitty way to look at life or whatever. It's a shitty way to look at, meaning. But I mean, if every single person was put on this earth for a certain purpose, or for multiple purposes and multiple meanings, it's just like, something's got to give, right? There has to come a point in time in your life where you're like, look, I know that this is a real thing. I know that this is really happening. Again, this goes back to the whole illusion thing, right? The whole illusion of life, the whole illusion of like, yes, of course, you can feel your face. You know that your face is real. You know that this person, when you go kiss a girl, right? You know that you okay, this chick, she's real. Her face is real. Her lips are real. There's a soul inside of her.
Yeah.
However, I don't fully, I don't know, man. I don't fully, at this point, I don't fully know whether all of our souls are real souls or not. And that gets to a point where now we're getting these robots, right? Remember that robot that you're talking about? What was that robot's name? That video you did a couple weeks ago or a week ago about that robot Sarah or something like that, right?
Oh hell, what
It
was
it it, it
Sophia?
doesn't Sophia, it doesn't know, it's not aware of its surroundings.
Right.
And now we're starting to realize a lot of people, more than we're comfortable admitting, are not aware of their surroundings. And I'm not talking about physically, I'm talking even mentally, are not aware of their surroundings. They do not, it's like they're not registering what is going on around them. That is the scary part. And that is what really made me start to think, oh shit. 2 years ago, we talked about being inside of we talked about being inside of simulation, and we all three said no. But there's a possibility.
Yeah.
Now I'm starting to revisit that. Now I'm starting to think, oh shit, maybe I was wrong. Maybe I was wrong about not being a part of a simulation. Because yes, we can think for ourselves and do all this stuff for ourselves, but we're starting to see a lot of people are not registering the fact that they can think for themselves, but they're not. Now, of course, we have the brainwashing, but brainwashing is only one mechanism into the factor of manipulation. But again, I could be wrong. Maybe I'm overthinking it. I don't know.
No, I don't think you are, bro. Damn, I had a couple points, but so I wanted to. You had one. You had said something. I wanted to comment on, but I lost it. But we did have another comment from Elise that I did want to go into. She asked, shout out to Elise again. She says, "But are religion and spirituality the same thing then? And where I see how religion plays a viable role in your simulation theory, how does spirituality fit in?" I don't think religion and spirituality are the same. I think that you can't, because you can't have one without the other. Like one of those you can have without the others. Like I think you can't have religion without spirituality, but you can have spirituality without religion. So I think that well, you don't think so, Corn?
I disagree.
You disagree?
Yeah.
You don't think that
but keep going. I'll say why after you finish.
Okay. Because I'm curious about that. Well, let me give my points as to why I think that then, because spirituality to me is broader than just regular old religion. Like because spirituality can that can be anything between astrology or it could be religion too, and then it could be just like meditation. That's a form of spirituality. Like all those things are all essentially soul based, which is where now I remember what I was going to ask you. You said that you didn't think that our souls were actually our souls. Now I disagree with that.
No, I'm saying not all.
What do you mean not all? Like not everybody's soul is their own?
Yeah. Think about it. Being part of a simulation, there's things put in place. There's certain simulations being put in place.
Okay.
Think about what happened to our account on Instagram just yesterday. Like bots, right? There's mix-ins, right? There's mix-ins between bots and real people, right?
Okay.
I think that there are just some people that don't. I'm not saying they don't have any souls, but I'm thinking like truly a part of a simulation. There could be people out there that we see every day that just don't have, because it's just I don't understand how you have a soul and how you have a conscience, and how this couldn't be illusion to some people or hell to us, how this couldn't be this couldn't be an illusion if they don't have that awareness mentally. I just don't get it. Mental awareness.
I see what you're saying, man. I see what you're saying. And that's, I guess that's kind of like, I get that you could attribute that to being like, you know, a skill that you had your all along, but you never knew you had until you ended up trying it. Like I could say, oh, I never knew I was able to, you know, crack eggs with one hand and then flip omelets with the pan until I tried it, and then I did it first try, and I was like, oh shit, that's easy, you know. And then now you can just do that shit, and you're good with it. Like I think that's the same thing, kind of with what you just said about, you know what I mean, about being able to sort of tap into your spirit, or just kind of literally be a fucking zombie, like what you said. Like you don't know until you try. You don't. You mean hell. One thing that's, you know, that I've, you know, that helps is you know, experimenting with certain substances on Earth.
Yeah,
that give you certain pictures, and then that's just all just, you know, being able to tap into these certain things and compare and contrast and do the non-substance stuff too. Meditation, you know, try that. Like if you sit and you meditate for 45 minutes, you can't tell me that there ain't something greater, you know, to all this shit. Whether or not you're in a simulation or not, that's one thing or another. But when you get to that point where you can sit there for 45 minutes straight, meditate, go into yourself, the shit that you see and the shit that you, like, you know, end up working through, the rest of the day, the rest of the simulation ain't shit, because that's the hardest thing you did all day. You know what I mean? So it's kind of crazy how you can, like, do certain things with just yourself, really. Like it's crazy what being properly hydrated and meditating can do to you, and how clear you can think, and how you can just come to all sorts of, you know, mental clarities about everything just from getting your physical right, or just from getting, you know, semi back on track. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Hell, working out 2 or 3 times a week as opposed to not working out for any at all in 3 months, that can change your whole fucking reality. You know,
there have been times. This may not be related, but I don't know. We'll see once I finish saying this. But there have been times where I've been completely broke, and I've been so down and dumps. I'm like, fuck, man, I ain't got no fucking money until like 2 weeks or next week or whatever. But then I go work out 3 days straight, and I still got the same amount of money on my bank account, but I feel like $1 million. I feel like, man, you know what, man, fuck it, man. You know, I'm still alive. You know, I have all these positive fucking thoughts all of a sudden. And it's not because you physically feel good, but it's just something with getting your mind right and getting your everything healthy, you know. And it's weird, bro. It's fucking weird.
Yeah, I need to take some of my own advice just from what I just said at this moment. So that I'm glad that we're having this conversation, because I need to take my own advice. But yeah, dude, for that's the truth, and I think that. And if you take that, and you can, you know, if you have the thought of, oh, let me, you know, so say you have that sort of clarity from like I said, getting hydrated or getting your body right, or starting to meditate, and then you start to take that and you say, well, if that feels more real than anything I felt from the outside world, right? Mm-hmm. So that would be the one thing that I would say would lead me to believe that is more real than what's in the outside world. And again, all the shit that's in the outside world, all it is just a thought manifested. That's all it is. So that, you know, we literally create our own realities, right? Like, if I wouldn't have this computer monitor if I didn't fucking have the thought, oh, I want to get a monitor. Oh, this one was a good price, and I bought it on sale, and the shit got hit my house, and I'm using it. Like, if it wasn't on sale, I wouldn't have actually picked up the monitor. You know what I'm saying? So, like, there's things that, like, I don't know, like, I don't know how to put this. We create our surroundings, right? Now, if that creation is tainted somehow, so again, like the jab, if you modify the source, you modify the information being put in, what's produced will be what you want it to be. That's how this fucking jab works. The mRNA tells the fucking the cell to make the fucking this protein, bro. DNA says, okay, It fucking goes. You get the cell that looks like the fucking virus, and then your immune system attacks it. That's how this one works. It's a lot deeper than that, but that's just it's the same concept. So
yeah.
Okay, hold on. At least getting deep. Pause. Is that a fucking? I just like to say pause. It's just funny. Anyway, she says by hydrating and taking care of your body the way you're meant to. Could that be a theoretical hack to the simulation then? By taking care of yourself, you're getting yourself out of that fog. Yeah. That's pretty much what we're getting at. Yeah.
Could it be a hack?
Yeah,
like we're not meant to do that, but when you do that, you're kind of like breaking the cycle. You're not breaking that mental barrier.
Yes, you're taking the red pill, if you will. That's that hack I think that she's talking about, if you will. If you want to put a
okay.
You know what I mean? Like you're saying, okay, if coming into yourself and if kind of understanding the deeper things in life and actually like because that's the only way to get you started is yourself. Because because we create everything around us, if everything around us has that that tainted message, and that's all you see, but something inside of you says, okay, that might not be the case, or that something might be up with that. You have to start with yourself, because then that's what's going to make you look at all this the other way. You see what I'm saying? So like that is the fucking cheat code.
Yeah.
Regardless if this is a simulation or not, I think. Yeah. And then from there you can spread that, and you can spread that virus. You know what I'm saying? You can spread that exploit throughout the simulation. And then you end up crashing the bitch because everybody knows the jig is up. That's how it should work. But it's the other way around. Now we got fucking so many people tied into the simulation. They're pushing the simulation.
The cycle.
Shit's on autopilot.
Yep.
They said, fuck it, we'll make some more money in fucking Bitcoin. Hey, Elon, go ahead and buy out some more Bitcoin for us, bro. Get that joint to 50K in here in a week. We want that. You know what I'm saying? They're playing.
Yeah. There's not enough people breaking the cycle, man. It's really not. And at the end of the day, that's what we need. It's you and I can make all the difference in the world. But if nobody, if again, I'm not saying, oh, you guys should follow us today, right? But like, if people are not literally following people like you and me, in terms of, hey, we have to speak up, because we're getting to a point to where it's almost too late, if not already too late, to where people could speak up and not be punished for it. But we've already seen where people speak up and they're being punished for it. We're seeing people, go against the grain of the simulation. And I'm not even saying the simulator is punishing us, but us as human beings are punishing each other because we've been brainwashed so deep inside the simulation.
I mean, think about it.
So what happens when brainwashed people brainwash people?
The simulation works on its own. It's on autopilot. And to answer at least, yes, that is actually aligning you back to the perceived nature or reality in this simulation or scenario. Yes, for sure.
I want to go back to what was the thing that what was it this one, right? So I want to go
okay, yes, back to that. Yeah, we got to talk about this.
I don't think you need spirituality to have religion. I don't. Okay. I wouldn't say that. I think you need to tap into your spirituality to have religion or to believe in religion or whatever, right? Because we've seen a lot of people, especially in Christianity, religion is so. I'm trying not to use the word brainwash. I'm trying to use something a little bit smarter, because I feel like I say that word 70 times in a fucking.
I mean, hey, it is what it is.
70 times a day, but You know, religion is so much slavery, like where you could pretty much be brain dead and be a part of religion. I grew up watching it. You know what I mean? Like I can't speak for anybody else, but I grew up in the community, and in a Christian community where it's like,
Same.
Don't you dare say you don't believe in this. Don't you dare say there's no God. Don't you dare say that you don't want to go to heaven or anything like that. Don't you dare question. Yeah, you know what I mean. It's just like don't you dare, don't you dare, don't you dare. It's where it's like I didn't know what spirituality was until I became a teenager. Until like literally, if you, dude, baptism. And again, I don't want to talk too much about religion because this isn't a religious podcast or anything like that, but think about baptism and what they explain it to us as children. But why as a child, let alone a baby, why would you get baptized? Why would a parent baptize a child who is not able to think on their own yet?
Theoretically, you're at your purest.
You're at your purest. However, you can't make decisions on your own. I mean, that's a fact, right? like we know as a fact. Like as a child, you cannot. As a child, being baptized, or not to get too personal, but were you baptized as a kid? You could say you don't want to answer it or not.
I was baptized, but I wasn't baptized as a baby. I was baptized.
Yeah. I was baptized in 2000. So I was what? I was actually seven because like the beginning.
I was around that age.
I got baptized when I was like 7.
I was around
and it was like, hey, my mom was like, hey, you believe in God, right? Like, yeah. And it was like some other couple questions. It was like, well, we're going to baptize you. You're going to get baptized on this date. And it's just like, when you're 7, you're like, okay. Because don't you dare say no. You know what I mean? It's just like, you can't, like, you see where I'm getting at, right? Like there was no spirituality there. There's no spirituality there at all for me growing up in the church. And I grew up I grew up like my dad went to one church his entire life, the exact same church. And I grew up half the time I was at that church, and then the other half the time I was jumping around from church to church to church until my mom finally found an actual church that she trusted and loved or whatever. But I've never tapped into spirituality until I was like maybe 15, 16, where I started having these like, I started having nightmares and then dreams. And then it was just weird stuff happening in my life at the time. And I was just like, whoa, like, this is what, like, it's just like, even at 15, when spirituality is spirituality, when it's like, oh, wow, like this happened to me last night. And, it was sort of a dream, but my eyes were open. It was stuff like that was happening, bro. And I'm not saying I'm a crazy person or anything like that. And, because that really happens now as an adult with me. But it's just like, that was my first introduction to spirituality. And then that's when I knew. I was like, holy shit, like, what the fuck am I doing? Like, church on Sunday, every fucking Sunday for what? Dressing up to church, what? Having to be there on time, having to give money to a man standing in front of a podium telling lies all day long for what? You know what I mean? And look, believe what you want, obviously, but at the same time, I'm like, look, man, you can have religion without spirituality. Those two are not synonymous at all. However, it's a possibility you can have both. It's a possibility you can have religion with spirituality. It's a possibility you can have spirituality. You can experience spirituality through religion. But if you're asking, to answer Luke's question of, is religion and spirituality the same thing? Hell no, they're not. And you can have one without the other on both ends.
That's a fair point. I was thinking when I made that statement, I was thinking more in its origin and basis of it's essentially more mainly I was thinking of Christianity. I was thinking of mainly its allegories with the Father, Son, the Holy Spirit, that type of thing. It's really more of a spiritual, I guess, origin. But in practice, it's not always as such, and you are damn right about that, because I had the same fucking I mean, we talked about it,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, I'm not going to publicly put what some of the things I witnessed from the church, but let's just say that
It's a lot of fucked up shit.
I learned it was a sham very young, at a very young age.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. You know, and again, I don't want to harp too much on the whole church, church aspect of religion, because there are some really cool parts of religion where you can experience some really, really good things in terms of spirituality. But it's not enough for someone to actually commit their entire life or lifestyle, let alone to one religion. Like I've never understood how people. But now again, I know how they get you. Like I know how people. I know how people get you in those inner religions, because there a lot of people, they get them with loneliness. That's the same thing where they do with cults. And we've already had the discussion before on here. I don't know how many times we had a discussion, even back in the Adam days on here, where we had a discussion about whether religions are sin, you can have, whether a cult could be a religion, all that different kind of stuff, because we already went over the actual true definition of religion and stuff like that. And we already know, yes, religion, there's certain religions that, yes, depending on how they go about it, can be a cult.
Yeah.
Now, dude, yeah, you hit the nail right on the head. Like we know what went on in the churches that we grew up in. You know what I mean? We saw all the fuckery going on, and all the lies and the stealing and all this other bullshit going on. Right?
Mm-hmm.
And once you realize that, like, I don't understand how people still stay in that environment and still stay in those communities when they see all the bullshit going on, and they see like, oh, how is someone that is living better than me, that's sitting up here, and I know that they're stealing from us as people, when we're giving our hard-earned money and we're still struggling, and we're giving money to these people that are sending their fucking kids to Stanford fully paid.
Mm-hmm.
Like, still to this day, that shit still pisses me off. Like still to this day, I'm like, why the fuck would you give money to that person every fucking Sunday?
Right.
Like, why the fuck would you do that? But again, I don't want to. This is way too deep. I could talk about this shit for hours, bro. I just wanted to bring this whole topic thing up and kind of go off of that. But look, it look like we live in here tonight, bro. people in here
shout
tonight.
Out to everybody showing love for sure. Shout out to Creelink as well, bro. What's up, man? He says being in a simulation would be really complicated, because wouldn't we be able to do it? Wouldn't we be able to do what we want? I mean, yeah, that's yeah. I mean, I think we probably answered your question just by what we were just talking about, more or less. But we're saying that the simulation is based off of, basically like natural principles of creation and manifestation. Is how the simulation is being projected. Because again, I've made the whole analogy of the messenger RNA sending the message, and therefore the outcome being tainted from the inception is what we're getting at here. Like we're being fed shit, and it's being passed on, and it's just self-replicating at this point.
Yeah.
Basically is how we're breaking it down. But shout out to Creelink. Shout out to Lisa again. She said, you made a good point on the religion topic, Corn. I definitely see where you're coming from. Yeah, that's all facts. It's all facts. And John from America, what up? He says, yo, bro.
What up?
Yeah, man, I don't have anything else I really want to. Well, I mean, it's like I said, I do have a lot I could say on it, but I back to the origin of the topic, back to the original topic. Is reality a simulation? We're gonna have to say I'm gonna have to just pretty much lean towards yeah, man. In a certain way, yeah.
Because I used to think as a kid that people would be watching our lives as like a TV show. Like, you'd have different, how they talk about angels in religion, how everyone has like a guardian angel. I think everyone has like their own little simulator, and some simulators have different people. I could have the same simulator or creator as someone in, Cambodia or somewhere in the North Pole. Wait, is that a real place? Well, you know what I mean? But like places all over the world, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
who knows? That's the way I look at something. Again, I don't really know. I like to play around with these different ideas, But now it's getting to a point where I'm like, fuck, like I don't even want to like even like play around with those ideas. Like I like the way people are acting nowadays, man. Like I really do think that some of this shit, something's got to be real. One of these ideas that I have has got to be real.
Yeah, one of these seemingly crazy ideas, right? Shit. Shout out to Leslie Sweet.
I'm dead.
My bad if I mispronounced that. She said, "Wow, that was explained really well. Appreciate it. We haven't seen you before, and welcome to the comrades.
Hit that like and subscribe. You already know.
Definitely. We got more of this well explained shit on the channel for sure. So check it out. Appreciate you." John from America says, "If reality is a simulation, what is it simulating, or what is it a simulation of?" If reality is a simulation, what is it simulating? Well, we just kind of went out that it's simulating this outcome of it. It's simulating itself. That's what it's simulating. It's simulating itself. It's simulating what we perceive as reality.
Sort of an illusion.
You know? Yeah, sort of an illusion. Yeah, that's what we're theorizing on, essentially. Because again, none of this can really be proven until you die, right? And then you might see. But then even then, who knows if that's, you know, like this is something that could maybe or maybe not ever be proven, right? We're really just theorizing on why we think it is or isn't. Which is the beauty of it, you know? Because we can have these sort of, you know, we can actually kind of go into this because this is like something that's actually. He says, John from America says, so it's a reality simulator or an illusion simulator. I mean, yeah, I sure. I mean, it's yeah. we're reality. We're saying that reality is simulated. We're discussing that. Yes. I don't know if there's a difference between different types of simulators. I mean, I'm sure there are, but you know.
I think what he means by illusion simulator is someone's
actually simulating.
Yeah, someone's actually creating the actual illusion for us rather than us creating it for ourselves. I think that's what he means.
Okay, I see now. I see. He says, I think it'd be more of a reality simulator than an illusion, but I definitely know people are delusional. Yeah, that's facts.
Oh, facts. Mega facts. Big facts.
Yeah. Any final word before we get into another topic here, man? I think.
Yes. Sorry, we went on for like a whole hour. I didn't think we'd go over for a whole hour about that shit.
I figured we would, man. I mean, we could have went for for 2 pause, but
we could have went for 5, but
right,
you know, yeah, man. Yeah. I don't have any other words or anything like that for I mean, not right now, you know. Again, like there's so much we could say from that. There's so much discussions, right. So many rabbit holes and tunnels with that topic, man. Like we'd be here for weeks probably talking about this kind of shit, bro. Like right. we'd have to create an entire series about just reality in general. It's like reality and questioning reality and all that different kind of stuff, man. I feel like we got something going with that. Yeah. I think we got something brewing, something that we don't even know that's going on that we got brewing for this channel in terms of that particular topic.
Yeah, facts. Which we will be delving into because we were just talking about how this, you know, all this political shit and all this, you know, sort of
taking a toll on us, man.
It's taking a toll on us, basically. So we're gonna be taking a break from that for the most part.
Vaccines and masks, like it's taking a toll on me, man.
Yeah, we need to take a break from that. So we're gonna be doing more of these philosophical topics for sure. And I know everybody loves them, and we love them. And that's really what, you know, it's really the foundation of this podcast. And you know, its inception was all of our, you know, philosophical topics that we really kind of talked about in a private time, plus, you know, the real world shit too.
Yeah.
But yeah. So we're gonna be doing a little more. This is fun. It's been fun.
Sorry, accidentally, I went to go pour the rest of my beer into my cup, and some of it, I kind of missed the cup entirely. So now I'm cleaning up a mess over here. Sorry.
Oh man, poor corn. RIP. I guess you inadvertently poured one out for one of the homies. Put it that way.
Yeah.
Put it that way. But what we're going to get into now is Spotify. Freaking Spotify. So basically, they filed a patent back in 2018, sort of silently, under the radar, and it finally just got approved about a week ago. And what this patent is for is technology in the app that can monitor your speech, determine your emotional state, and suggest music based on how it interprets your emotional state. Yes, AI machine learning just snuggling right back on in another facet of life, pretty much. So it says here, the article starts off, and this is from Music Business Worldwide. This is, pretty reputable site. It says, remember when Spotify was granted a patent for personality tracking technology and how unsettling it was? Published in October 2020, the filing explained that the behavioral variables such as a user's mood, their favorite genre of music, or the demographic could all prospectively correspond to different personality traits of a user. End quote. Spotify suggested that it could promote personalized content, presumably audio advertising content, but also perhaps music and podcast content to users based on their personality traits it detected in them. Now, according to details published in the patent, they want to use technology to get even deeper into its users' heads by using speech recognition to determine their emotional state, gender, age, or accent, attributes that can then be used to recommend content. Wow. This is just, again, more of the same, but according to the filing, Spotify's new patent covers a quote method for processing a provided audio signal that includes speech content and background noise, and then identifying playable content based on the processed audio signal content. So this is what this is. If you haven't picked up on this yet, everybody's listening. This is essentially Amazon Alexa inside of Spotify. But instead of you telling it what to do and it's doing something for you, well, actually, it's really still even doing that, but it's based on recommendations. So it's taking your data and trying to recommend things for you. Like now, whether you see this as good or bad, it's up to you. Spotify then explained that it's common for a media streaming application to include features that provide personalized media recommendations. This is basically, incredibly smart AI, if you will. What this is. Spotify solution, they say they want to collect taste attributes of a user, including speech recognition technology. At one point, it suggests obtaining intonation, stress, rhythm, and the likes of units of speech that could be combined with acoustic information within the hidden Markov model architecture so that the app could categorize a user's mood as happy, angry, sad, or neutral. Now, that's pretty freaking crazy. I know that you can harness, moods based on the type of I guess the frequency in which you talk and the acoustics. Like you can tell, like I'm in a sort of an empty room based on the echo in the background and all that kind of shit, right? So like there's things that you can tell just by audio, for sure. So but the way that they're able to harness that to then recommend you music based on your mood. And you know what's crazy, Corn? I don't know how much you use Spotify.
I don't use Spotify at all, man. Not anymore. I used to use it for a certain podcast I listen to, but they moved exclusively to YouTube and now to Patreon. So yeah. I don't really fuck with Spotify like that. I fuck mostly with YouTube.
Yeah, I feel you. I've been using Spotify since probably like 2012. And there's been many times where I've just cut on Spotify randomly, and I've felt like it's been picking songs that like really kind of fit my mood. And I'm like, damn, like Spotify knows what's up. Now, if anybody out there's listening, and if y'all use Spotify, comment and let us know if you felt that way as well about Spotify. Like you just cut it on and you've been in like a certain mood, and then it just like song after song after song, it's just hitting. You know what I mean? Just perfect for the mood. Comment if you had that experience with Spotify. But basically, yeah, they'll just retrieve your metadata, all your voice and surroundings information, which they're just gathering from your phone, right? Because it's not really like they're doing anything extra. They're just using the audio inputs that you granted when you granted access from downloading the app and accepting the terms and conditions. So it's all just basically just being fed from your phone. And their AI on the back end is transmitting and interpreting all that data and linking that with certain songs and what emotions that those songs bring about. So it's a really complicated system, I think. But this is one that's like creepy and cool for me. More creepy than cool, but it's still kind of both. Okay, I shouldn't say cool, but you know what I mean.
What makes you think it's cool?
I mean, just part of the geek in me understands how complicated this is, and what type of infrastructure you have to be able to like do something like this to this scale. Like that's the geek in me that finds that like, damn, they're actually pulling that type of shit off now.
To actually pay attention to like the background noise and everything else.
Yeah, and be able to combine all that to then also be able to interpret that data with every single song database that they have and whatever moods that those investigate. So that, you know, whatever moods that those invoke, really, that which is its own sort of research and data set in and of itself. Like to be able to mesh them two together, like to me, this is some pretty complicated shit that they're doing.
But
no, that's the only part of it to me that it's just hitting that nerd in me. You know what I'm saying? Again, I've been IT for a decade. It's hitting the nerd in me, but again, it's some creepy shit. But again, what's new?
Yeah. Facts.
Yeah, I mean, what the fuck's new? More data gathering to serve you better.
Yeah,
while simultaneously strengthening the, you know, the what do you call it? The capabilities of these AIs and machine learnings and, you know, all the analysis that it's capable of and things like that. So it's interesting. They've got like a wait. Go ahead. What you say?
The thing about this is they're basing it off of like it wouldn't be as creepy to me, or at least as shocking and surprising to me. And it's not even that shocking or surprising that, oh, Spotify is fine when you like, I mean, we know what these music platforms do. You know, they go off your algorithm and then they try and push their own algorithm for you as well. Same thing as YouTube, and Google and all the other people, which Google is synonymous with YouTube, as we already know. But Spotify, you know, coming out and saying like, hey, this is what we're doing, and people aren't really responding to it again like they should be. Right, you know, them saying that, oh, you know, I was watching, because when you brought me this topic, I went and researched a little, and then I came across this video, this dude saying that, like, pretty much use an example of like, if you and your lady are fucking in the background and you're playing certain playlists or a certain few, you know, type of songs, they're listening and they're going to go off of that and create their own algorithm for you, so that next time you start masturbating or whacking off, you know, whatever you're doing, it's going to start playing it, and you're listening to music in the background, it's going to suggest this such and such artist for you or such and such type of music for you. It's some crazy shit, man.
Yeah, man.
It's some crazy shit. Again, probably not the best example to use, but it's a common one.
But that's just how into your lives they already are. You know what I mean? Yeah. At the end of the day, like that's how inside your own head they are. They've got you more organized than you've got yourself for the most part.
Yeah.
And it's multiple companies. It's every much you know, an app, you know, an Instagram, a Facebook, a Spotify, as it is, you know, your whoever you're paying your internet bill to, you know, whatever government organization's got your name in the fucking file. It's they've all got pretty much just as much information, if not, you know, equal information to an extent. Yep. Or it's all being funneled from one to the other. So it goes from the phone to the app to the to the ISP to the fucking government, and it's all known, and they all tell you they're all doing it. Whoever you pay your internet bill to, they keep record of every single website you visit for 5 years and provide that to the government.
And that's the funny thing too, is they tell you. They ain't afraid to tell us either.
And you agree that when you sign that terms and conditions, that terms of service to use that service. Again, everything's run by contracts. Nothing's just, very rarely is shit just kind of like coming out of nowhere. That is another thing. Like you've either opted into it and you didn't know it, or it's just kind of like an implied contract where there's nothing physical, but again, it's because you're this, that means this, and this type of shit. You know what I mean? So yeah, man. Interesting shit. They go into a little bit of the in the article. They go into a little bit of the tech side of it. They've got the paired emotional framework, which uses a tree structure to list the emotions with different levels of emotions and shit. So they kind of touch on the tech side of it, but Spotify is now answer me this, Corn. What reason do you think Spotify would have to make this sort of now? Do you think that investing in this will make them more money at the end of the day?
Yes. But not the reason you think. I'm gonna, damn, that you kind of caught me off guard because I didn't even think of like the financial part of it. I'm gonna go with yes because I think the reasoning why it would is because a lot of companies are gonna see what they're doing, and they're gonna want to partner with Spotify, or they're gonna want a piece of the pie with Spotify in terms of creating these algorithms, creating these playlists for people, going off of these moods. It's a virtual mood ring, essentially. So, with doing that, I think that yes, a lot of companies are going to be chomping at the bit to be working with Spotify or for Spotify, to on a financial standpoint, to benefit off of this and off of this this business plan.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I can see that for sure.
The Spotify, this Spotify thing is really tricky because it's not like we didn't know this kind of stuff was going on. Sure. It's the fact that they're coming out and telling us that they are. And again, this just ties back into the end of times. Like everyone's telling us what their plan is. Like everyone's telling us what they're doing to us. And they don't give two shits about the repercussions because there aren't going to be any. They're saying, hey, look, we're spying on everybody. What are you guys going to do about it?
None.
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 That's what it is.
Yeah, that's pretty much what it is, man.
And again, a lot of companies are going to be chomping at the bit to be working Spotify after this. A lot of companies are going to be like, hey, look, we want to part with you guys. We want to work with you guys to be able to get a piece of this pie.
Yeah.
You're going to have look, I don't know what company, in terms of music, I don't know what company platforms are owned by what company. So I don't know if iHeart's owned by, or whether Apple is, whatever, or Pandora or whatever. But you're going to see the Pandoras and the iHearts and the other people doing the exact same thing that Spotify is doing. I mean, YouTube's been doing it for years.
That's true.
I mean, in a way, Spotify is kind of late to the party. YouTube's on the other side of the room, like, hey, on their phone, like, oh, you already did that? Yeah, look, fam, we've been doing that for years, fam. You kind of late to the party, but anyways, congratulations. I'm just over here just feeding 400 million people this little algorithm I got going on right here.
Right.
Yeah. I think that's the way I look at it.
Yeah, I think YouTube got their patents in earlier. I guess is what it is.
Yeah.
They were far more sinister far earlier.
last year we were about to see a lot of rappers get canceled off of Spotify last year, or banned off of Spotify last year, because of people were like, oh, all the stuff that these rappers are saying, they're admitting the murders, they're talking about all this violent stuff and blah 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 whatever, and it's like, here we go.
Oh, here you go.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, thankfully it never happened, but the fact that it raised a lot of questions, and people were like, oh, these rappers have been saying this kind of stuff for years, and oh no, it wasn't even a violent thing. My bad. I misspoke on that. It was the anti homo stuff, or whatever they call it now, or what do they call it again? Homophobic stuff, right?
Yeah.
So like people were saying, people were using the F, all that other stuff, and use like gay slurs and stuff like that. And people were trying to cancel rappers off of Spotify, man. Like they're legit trying to ban certain types of rap off of Spotify. And again, I mean, if you ask me, I don't care. Like, I don't care that they had that platform to do that. But at the same time, it's like, look, man, like, we know what this is at the end of the day. We know what it's going to become at the end of the day. It's going to become YouTube 2.0. Yep. Just another copycat of YouTube. Everybody's copying YouTube because, one, YouTube's the biggest platform. Yes, we got it. People are essentially doing the same thing we've been trying to do, which is trying to make a living doing this kind of stuff, doing this. And at the end of the day, they know that there's millions and millions of people out there that are trying to make a living off of these platforms. So how do you dwindle it down? How do you kind of not necessarily water it down, but I guess you could say water it down as well. But how do you kind of eliminate a large piece of that puzzle? Is censorship. And at the end of the day, Spotify is going to do the same thing YouTube is doing, which is mass censorship. So it's like, look, we're going to come out with these guidelines. If you don't follow these guidelines, your ass is grass. And unfortunately, Spotify, again, although they're late to the party, they're going to start doing the same thing. Then it's going to be the SoundClouds of the world. So Spotify, while we are somewhat shocked and surprised that you're coming out and saying you're doing it, we're not surprised that you're actually doing it.
That's the damn truth. That's the damn truth. And don't forget, they'll have a record of everything that you say or every noise that's in the background in your phone. So to gauge your mood, to make sure that you get the best choice in songs, they can recommend the best daily mix playlist for you.
Spotify to me is the same thing as TikTok and Snapchat. I just don't use it. Like I have no need for it. Like I have YouTube.
It's not the same as TikTok.
I've had enough of YouTube. Huh?
It's not the same as TikTok and Snapchat.
No. I'm saying to me, it's the same as TikTok and Snapchat, which means I have no use for it. Like there's no point in me going to Spotify to listen to something that's already on YouTube or SoundCloud. Like I already have these other platforms that I can listen to music off of. I don't really, unless it's someone that exclusively, like I need to listen to their music and it's only on Spotify, which is the only reason why I have the app installed. That's the only reason, but I don't go to Spotify. You know what I mean? Like, again, it's the same thing to me, it's the same thing as Snapchat and TikTok. Like I have no use for it whatsoever, unless somebody's like,
It's just odd things to pair, but I feel you on that. But yeah, I have no use for TikTok.
Well, all right. Well, let me break it down for you real quick. Snapchat. Okay. Why do I need a Snapchat when all I can do is text you a picture of what I'm doing?
Right. Okay. Yeah. The same arguments we was making. Yeah. Okay. I got TikTok. You now.
Why do I need? Okay.
Yeah. You don't even need to go any further. I understand now. Yeah. I see what you mean. Because I remember that we were saying that shit. Back before we even thought about making a podcast. Years ago. Like when that shit
were still asking like, do you have a Snap? It's like, I have a phone,
right.
But
yeah, fucking picture. Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel you on that 100%. Oh man. But what I don't feel, pause.
I'm massive.
Tom Brady being called, quote, racist for winning the damn Super Bowl. Because he won it in February. That bastard. Innumerable people took to social media to complain that NFL star Tom Brady winning the Super Bowl during Black History Month was, quote, racist, end quote. No, this is not the Onion. Tom Brady led the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to victory over the Chiefs, Kansas City Chiefs, to claim his personal 7th Super Bowl win, prompting outrage due to the perception that Brady once supported President Trump and the Chiefs quarterback being black. Many BLM supporters scalded Brady for having the temerity to win, suggesting that he was racist for doing so. Let's look at some of the hold on. Let me make this a little bit bigger here so we can get into. Oh, I must have hit something else. Anyway, Matthew says, just thinking how Tom Brady has gotten all his rings during Black History Month. Something to think about. Seems very racist to me. Josh Mitchell says something about Tom Brady winning the Super Bowl during Black History Month feels racist. Look, I'm not going to read them all, but like, just look at. I'm a timeout here.
The fact that this dude says something about anything makes me feel like this could be that means it's not racist. Exactly. Whenever somebody comes out and says, "Oh, this makes me feel like it could be," like, no, then it's not. Shut the fuck up and move on. Like Jesus Christ, these people, bro.
Oh gosh.
Again, I can't really say how I really feel about these people right now, because I'll probably have people that personally know me probably call me and I get an earful. But
look at this. Yeah. Look at this. Tom Brady beat Chaz says Tom Brady beat Mahomes on Black History Month. ... Fucking racist. Are you kidding me?
The Super Bowl every year is in February. How is that? How does that even make sense?
This is
he supposed to lose?
Never forget that Tom Brady is a Nazi sympathizer who's cool with locking kids in cages as long as they're darker than his own. Says Relative Podcast. This is a fucking other podcast that said that shit.
This is ridiculous.
This is where we've dwindled to. Look! They've just got endless receipts, endless people saying this shit. Look at this. That's just the whole article. I'm just scrolling through the whole fucking article.
I'm about to say something very controversial right now.
And also here before you even say that, apparently a USA Today sports journalist wrote an op-ed being mad at Brady for not apologizing for his, quote, white privilege, end quote.
Whoa. Say that again?
I'll do you one better. I'll pull it up. USA Today op-ed denounces Tom Brady for being white. I could pull up the fucking. Let me see if I can find the actual article in here. But no, it's not.
Sounds like that person needs to be canceled.
Yeah,
that writer needs to be canceled.
Yeah. The Make America Great Again hat in his locker. The flippant endorsement of then President Trump. Only when those ties became inconvenient did Brady decide he wanted to stick to sports, and then he preferred to be a beacon of positivity rather than delve into society's thorn ills. The writer wrote, Nancy Armour. She then engages in brazen racism by declaring how mighty white of him. She previously called for the abolition of NFL cheerleaders and has consistently pushed BLM rhetoric, according to what this article says.
Has what?
Called for the abolition of NFL cheerleaders, so like getting rid of NFL cheerleaders.
And why?
I think they've got this article here too. Let's see.
Oh my God.
USA Today runs the dumbest op-ed of all time in its sports section, calling for the end of cheerleaders for pro sports teams. It's degrading, presenting women as nothing more than objects to be leered at, with skimpy, suggestive outfits as their, quote, uniform. Is their only purpose is to titillate.
You know what that goes back to?
A rabbit hole of fuckery is what this is.
You know what that goes back to?
What's that? This is just a rabbit hole of fuckery.
2K.
What
happened in 2K? What they do with the cheerleaders in 2K or lack thereof?
They put fucking little boys in there and put the cheerleaders in pants. Yeah, NBA 2K20. They got little boys in there dancing. Go if you played the game and you ain't picked up on that, you gotta think a little bit, just a little bit. Just open your mind just a little bit and think about why the fuck they would do that.
Where did they get this shit from, man?
I don't know, bro.
Where did they get this stuff?
Just the fact that they had little kids in there in general dancing in the halftime of the fucking game, a pro sports game, and it happened to be little boys.
Crazy.
But yeah, so apparently that writer has a history of hating
White people?
and men. Is what it seems like, and anything masculine.
Is this a woman or a man? Is the writer a woman or a man?
Nancy Armour. It's a woman.
Oh shit.
We'll pull up the actual. Yeah, Nancy Armour wrote this back in 2018. No place in the NFL for cheerleaders in 2018 is what she said.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And I'm gonna go back to what we've said in numerous podcasts where women were discussed. Women are universally accepted as beautiful by men and women alike. I can't think of one person who wouldn't want to look at a woman over a man. And at least as a symbol of beauty, right? You know what I mean? Like I can't think of man or woman who wouldn't prefer to look at a woman. I don't know, man. I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy. Maybe there's a reason why like everything that's deemed as beautiful is usually feminized. Like, you know, car guys call their car she, they name it some feminine name, or everything anybody ends up caring about, they name it some feminine name, right? So
ridiculous.
But again, women are marginalized in society, and you know, okay, y'all don't get it. Y'all lost y'all femininity a long time ago. If that's the case,
A long time ago.
y'all lost what it meant to be feminine a long time ago. But anyway, that's a rabbit hole. That's a rabbit hole. Yeah, so she's been on her bullshit. This writer, for sure. This Nancy Armour, she's been on her bullshit for a minute.
Ridiculous, dude.
Yeah.
So what is this whole thing with trying to get rid of Tom Brady?
I don't know.
By the way,
I don't know.
This is what she looks like. That's Nancy
Armour. There she be. So an endless mound of people.
Hold on, scroll back down real quick.
Where to?
Yeah, like so I just saw someone say that Tom Brady was racist. Like, come on. Come on.
He's so racist. He was hugging all his black teammates and saying that you know.
By the way, he revived Antonio Brown. He's the only person that believed in Antonio Brown. By the way,
but he's racist because
Antonio Brown, of all the fuckery, even the stuff that we reported back in over a year ago about Antonio Brown,
he stood by him.
He brought him back, and he helped lead Antonio Brown on the right path. But yet, he's racist. Really?
It's just as much an attack on masculinity as it is attack on, I guess, white people in this case. Right? By white people. That's how crazy shit gotten. They icing themselves.
And of course BLM's involved. Of course
BLM's involved. But BLM, I mean, yes, it was founded by black people, but it's mostly a white organization. Am I wrong?
Of course these people are involved.
Yeah. I don't know, man. Tom Brady, I feel like he's innocent in this scenario, man. I don't see the racism.
I know yeah. There's nothing I can see racist from Tom Brady. We would have
Nah.
heard something from other players or something. Dude's been in the league for 20 plus years.
Yeah. Yeah. Like I don't get it. But because he's white and he won and the quarterback from the other team is black halfway, then he's racist.
Then where the fuck were they 15 years ago when he won his first Super Bowl? Where were they then?
Or however many 3 years ago, whatever it was, 4 years ago when he won a 6th Super Bowl.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like
but the opposing quarterback was black, so we had to hand him they wanted to hand them the fucking Super Bowl. I think not.
Shit, you could argue it got fucking handed to damn Brady in the Bucks, although they handed it to the Chiefs too. Pause. That shit just cracks me up saying shit. My bad, y'all. I'm gonna stop eventually.
I mean, this is a slap in the face to every black player that's on the Bucks too.
Facts.
Think about that.
Facts. The fact that this is actually getting traction on social media.
Ndamukong Suh, Antonio Brown.
Yeah. People who know that this is clearly not the case.
Devin Smith, like really? Really? What about those black players? What about Leonard Fournette, the running back?
Yeah, the running back.
Really?
Who went off all game.
Again, man, there is no hope for humanity, bro. At this point, bro, it's hard to believe there is. It's hard to believe there's any kind of hope for humanity, bro.
It's hard to, man. And
the fact that this is a massive reach.
The most massive of reaches.
And the fact that this came from USA Today.
No. This was backlash on Twitter. But
so the writer from USA Today,
the writer from USA Today has previously talked about Brady. So we got on USA Today topic because the writer
is from USA.
Yeah, from USA Today. She was saying she was mad at Brady for not apologizing for his white privilege.
And she's still employed by USA Today? Do we know?
Yes. She wrote that op-ed last week. And then it went from that to talking about she also wanted to get rid of cheerleaders in the NFL or in professional sports, period. And I don't know if you remember, I was pissed off some years ago when they were getting rid of they did get rid of the umbrella girls in the staging lanes and at the races, some of the motorcycle races. I don't think it was any of the American girls, but I think it was like MotoGP or one of them that they got rid of the umbrella girls.
Yep.
It's like, what the fuck?
I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe UFC got rid of the chicks with the signs too, with the round 1, round 2 shit. Or maybe not UFC, maybe it might have been boxing. I can't remember.
Are you serious?
One of the two. Yeah, they talked about getting rid of the women holding up the round 1 and round 2 signs and stuff like that.
And the thing, you know what?
Over quote unquote over sexualization.
And you know what gets me is that hurts women. That hurts the women in those industries. And there's women who know that's so this is what they're doing. They're removing women out of quote unquote over sexualized positions in society while simultaneously over sexualizing women. But this is viewed as empowerment. This is also viewed as empowerment, although they're both over sexualizing things. It's like they're holding a fucking. It's like it's a chocolate covered what do you call it? I guess you could say it's like a chocolate covered nitroglycerin pill. They're dangling in front of women. They're like, hey, it's chocolate, and this empowerment shit's really tasty. But guess what? You gotta over sexualize yourself to eat it. Whereas the other option over here is like, this is the hyper masculinated society, quote unquote, that quote unquote demonizes and does all this other shit to women
and pandering
and pandering to women, and they both do the same thing. They both have the same output.
If that's the case, then why not get rid of
sexualization of women? This
I
is
mean,
fucking simulation, bro.
OnlyFans is if that's the case. What about all these people promoting OnlyFans, women and men?
Exactly. No, that's empowerment, bro. What you talking about? That's empowerment. But wearing a bikini holding a sign for round 3 in the UFC fight is dispowerment or whatever. That's over sexualizing women. But starting the OnlyFans or doing TikToks twerking behind a red background, that's empowerment. That's showing your strength. Where's the fucking logic in that?
Contradiction. That's what it is.
Where's the fucking logic in that? And people fall for this shit hook, line, and sinker.
Mm-hmm.
And then they wonder why. Can't nobody find no fucking companions. Look at what people are doing. Look what people are seeing as one thing, and what people are seeing as another thing.
Let's take the females out of the cheerleader uniforms and put them on the field. We saw how that worked.
Yeah, we saw how that worked.
We saw a female kicker try and kick a legit kickoff, and it looked like she tried to squib. Looked like a squib kick.
It looked like a fucking squib kick, a bad squib kick at that. And look at it the other way around. Look what happens when you take a male and put him in the female space. The transformer who was the track star, who was like 300th and 400th in men's, and then turned into a woman, and now they're setting records and winning national championships, looking like fucking Usain Bolt running against a bunch of high schoolers out there.
Yep.
Diesel, like I'm talking Diesel in them hurdles, but it's a chick.
Mm-hmm.
But this is all empowerment. There's nothing demeaning about any of this. This is all empowerment and inclusion, right?
Look at a trans person in the UFC, or I guess the trans people in UFC. I think there's more than one now.
Yeah, and WWE the other day, somebody just I can't remember the name, but
yeah,
yeah.
I can't comment on that one, but yeah.
I know.
And yeah, dude, if you look at the backlash from that incident too, well, from people, like people were going to, because look, man, wrestling is just like every other sport when it comes to like it's. I'm not saying it's mainly for men, because the women there are some. The women's sport, like women in wrestling, are now on the same level as men, which I have no problem with. However, I do have a problem with them pushing this whole transgender with pro wrestling, and it's ridiculous, man. Like they're like, oh, we don't want intergender wrestling and all this other stuff, and then they say, oh yeah, now we want it because this and that and the third, and now pandering. Once again, pandering. That's all this is pandering.
Yep.
Like, where was this Nancy Armour lady 10 years ago? Where was she 5 years ago? Hell, where was she 3 years ago?
Probably not pushing all that bullshit. I guarantee that. Or maybe she was. Who knows? She might be a career panderer. The
fact that people are making a living off of this, off of pandering, and making a living off of pushing
professional level on a national newspaper, a national media source, one of the biggest, pushing that bullshit. Writing
again, man, like I cannot imagine like these people, man. I gotta tell you, man, like you have to be happy with the money, man, because at the end of the day, man, they're gonna try and tear down every single person's legacy that does not try and pander to these agendas, is not trying to follow these agendas or push these agendas along with everyone else.
Yeah.
Tom Brady is the perfect example. He minds his own business. He works hard. He is, the proof is in the pudding.
Literally.
And yet, imagine having someone the very next day after you made history, and then they try and tear you down and try and pretty much destroy your legacy. I can't imagine how mad I would be. That's the whole reason why I have these conflicting issues with my own dreams, where like my own goals, where it's like, let's say I do become successful, and then somebody tries to turn me up because I don't believe in the same thing they believe in, or I don't want to push this agenda they want to push.
Right.
I can't imagine what I would do, or like how angry I would be, and the things I would say to an entire community of people because they don't want to, because they don't want to see someone be successful just because they have a different opinion.
Right.
You
And
know,
let's also not
I
forget.
can't imagine anger.
Let's also not forget that Tom Brady is getting shit from another angle because he wasn't wearing a mask after the game. People were calling him a piece of shit because he wasn't wearing a mask after the game. So Tom Brady's being painted as the unapologetic, not apologizing for his white privilege, Trump supporting
Maskless.
guy, quote unquote racist who doesn't wear a mask, and he didn't wear one coming into the stadium either. So now you see what they're doing, like they're just putting a drop of dye in a pool of water and watching it just spread. Watching that shit just fucking spread. That's all it is. Fucking ridiculous, man. But we're gonna hit this last topic here. This is from the Metro UK. This is a British news source. And they say expect a knock on your door from the council if you refuse to get the jab. So anyone who doesn't respond to an offer to get the jab may get a visit from the council, basically, which is the British wording for the cops, to find out why you refuse or why you didn't respond. Coming soon to America, by the way. The government is considering sending council staff to visit people who have refused an offer to get vaccinated, the minister responsible for the rollout has suggested. Amid fears, a sizable portion of the population are still skeptical of getting the vaccine, or, well, fuck, I already said it now. Those who have so far turned down the chance to get inoculated may soon get a knock to find out why. Vaccine Minister Nadeem Zahawi told MPs that he wanted to identify at an individual level the people who still need to be reached.
It's ridiculous.
Door-to-door services have had some success during the pandemic with contact tracers and testers deployed to reach those who authorities have been unable to contact via other means. So you can't even just ignore these fuckers anymore. They're going to come to your house and make sure that you answer to them. You bow down. You answer to me. And you tell me why you're not getting the job.
And we called it.
You better have a good reason, you fucking peasant.
We called it. I remember using a specific example in one of our recent episodes, one of our last couple of episodes, saying that I use the example of Prince of Egypt, that movie Prince of Egypt, where they're going to start knocking on doors and once they prove in one of these established countries such as the UK or America or Canada, where they can just start going into people's homes and saying, hey, you refuse to take the vaccine, boom, you're going to jail, or you're going to prison, or you're going to these quote unquote camps. Then it's gonna start happening everywhere, at every other established country, like you just said, soon to come to the US.
Yep.
If they deem it to be effective in the UK, it's going to be effective in America.
Yep.
Unfortunately.
Not only going to be effective, they're going to be using it in America at some point, because they'll again there's a couple more things we gotta get out the way first before they can do that. You know, there's a few more things that they're working towards with all these damn executive orders and shit, so they can get to this point right here. One thing the article does mention is that Mr. Zahawi, the health minister or whatever, declined to say whether the government is recording data on who has refused or not, which I find interesting because we know that, I think, what was the article we read? Was it Australia, or there was another country who was actually, not only were they taking data on who was refusing, they were actually like going to move them somewhere, move them elsewhere, like move them out of where they were at or something like that.
Camp.
Yeah, a camp, a camp,
And
a fun camp, not and actually not a fun camp, and not a summer camp either.
it'll be a camp similar to the ones that they had back in the 50s, 40s.
Yeah, think so.
Yep.
Yeah, man. It's,
and
yeah,
yet
just
people want to compare. Yet people want to compare the president to Hitler. Boy, are you in for a rude awakening?
Yeah.
Boy, are you in for a rude awakening?
Yeah, it's I just want to say, man, I stumbled across a very compelling video about this whole jab. Again, it reconfirmed a lot for me, but it also kind of mentioned that essentially now they had their sources up on the screen, and they were studies, like actual government and scientific studies on this type of thing, and they mentioned that the way that when you get this jab, it essentially, now I'm paraphrasing very, 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 I'm paraphrasing a lot of information into a very short saying, but essentially they were saying that basically, since this modifies your cells, essentially you create different cells. Every cell in your body is now resemblant of this illness, right? So they were saying that when you actually come across the natural version of the coronavirus, you will your body will essentially go into overload, because it's like, wait a minute, I gotta attack this, but it's like something with the protein. I can't remember exactly how the fuck they were. They basically said your body would then realize that the virus was in every single cell inside your body, and then you would go into and then you'll subsequently could potentially go into like septic shock and all this other stuff when you do end up encountering the natural version of the itis, not the version that's been messaged into your cells from the jab. So it was an interesting video, and they had scientific proof of it that they were reviewing on the screen. So I found it just more reason for me to feel the way I feel about it. But yeah, apparently it's this could potentially pose a real problem for a lot of people in a few years, because again, over time people will because they're saying it's not going anywhere. So eventually people will encounter it one way or another. And they're saying that essentially there's a potential that a certain amount of people's bodies could react in that way. So I want just a bit of info. I'll probably, if I can get that video, it's kind of long. If I can get it on my computer, I might go ahead and post it up on the channel. It's very interesting.
Because remember that topic that we had? It might have been our last episode or the one before that one. We had the topic of someone proposed that they go into people's houses and take the children of Trump supporters. Remember that one?
Yeah.
This is the equivalent of that. There's going to be so many justifications of them invading our privacy of our homes.
I'll be gone.
Whether it's through drones, whether it's through, there's so many things are going through my mind in terms of this. Like, they can have drones just chilling around neighborhoods.
Yeah.
Surveilling neighborhoods, making sure that people are going out and getting these fucking vaccines, or as you call jabs. That's crazy. But yeah, like the fact that people are literally coming up with these ideas of, look, let's start going to their doors now, because not enough people. And again, we had more people than at least I thought that we would. But it's a good thing. It's a good thing that we have more people questioning the vaccines than I thought they would, because I thought they would be reacting to the vaccines the same way they would. I mean, granted, there are still a lot of people that are still, I would still say the majority of people are still clamoring for these fucking vaccines. But
I saw a study that said at least the majority of Americans did actually did not want it.
That's a good thing.
Yeah,
And that's a good thing. Because
the
I,
majority
I
of
did
people
not,
my
I
reaction
never thought
didn't
that would
want it.
happen.
Yeah,
I never thought that would happen.
right. But that
And-
only means
and-
one thing. They're gonna make us get it in some way. Because not enough people actually. That's my
And that's
only
the bad
worry. Yeah, that's my
That's
only
the
worry.
bad. That's the bad part about it too, because hey, look, man. At the end of the day, they're going to do what they want to do. At the end of the day, they are literally trying to get us to let them into our private homes. Like our entire lives are going to be controlled. Our entire lives are going to be controlled because they want them to. And a lot of us want to let them control our lives.
Yep, elimination of the private. That's
So we
that's
want
one of
so
the
we want them to take away our freedom so that we can go back to having freedom. Essentially.
essentially, yeah.
It makes no sense to me, man.
And both
makes
were false
no-
senses of freedom in the first place. On top of that,
Again, there's going to be more than one reason that we're going to have to get the vaccine. Just like there's going to be more than one reason that they're going to charge into our fucking neighborhoods, storm the streets. Look, we've already like I know someone. I'm not gonna out him on here, but I know someone that it has to work at a FEMA camp this week.
oh,
Like they told me, like they're like, yeah, they're actually making us work the FEMA camps this week, and I'm like, whew, it's tough.
yeah,
It's tough. They like every single day we were reminded that we have no control over whether they make us slaves or not. We have no control over our slavery, man.
that's facts, and I'm living and breathing that right now, unfortunately.
Yeah. And yeah, it's nuts, man. Again, I think I used the example the other day. I can't remember on here or on a app where I went to a barbershop last time I got my haircut. As soon as I walk in, boop, right to my forehead. Okay, you're good. And I'm like, whoa, no question, no warning, no nothing. It's just they walk up with their mask on, boop, right to the forehead. I'm like, Jesus Christ, at a fucking barbershop, really? Like, damn, I'm already paying $30 for a fucking haircut. Like, god damn, like, you really?
On top of it, you gotta fucking hit me with a laser. You know what I'm saying?
And if it's not the right temperature, well, you're out.
Yep.
We can't cut your hair.
Try again next time. Shout out to Lilo's Way, another new listener. Shout out to you. Jab is funny. Yes, I think so too. That's why I say it. jab or stick is usually
That shit is a trip, man. But
yeah.
look, man, we're in for it, man. We are in for it.
Yes, sir. Unfortunately, we're in for it. Did you have anything else that you wanted to say overall about tonight?
No, man, the same thing I always say, man. Look, now more than ever, we need to express our freedom, the freedom of our minds, because physically, eventually, I mean, hell, even to a certain extent, physically, we have no freedom, especially in this, during these times right now.
Yeah, unfortunate facts. Yeah,
I don't know what's gonna happen, man. I mean, I do, but I don't. You know, I should say I do know what's gonna happen. I just don't know how rapidly it's gonna happen. You know, because the way they're talking about going to people's front doors.
why aren't you taking it? We want to know why. And they even said,
the right answer will never be because I don't want to take it. Like the right answer will never be because I feel safe not taking it. Because they're going to be like, well, all these people took it. All these people did it. They did it for the safety. They're all safe because they got it. But are they? And even if nothing does happen, I feel like I should have the right, not even as an American, but I have the right as a human being to say, I do not want to stick that into my body.
Hell no.
I feel like as a human being, I should have the right to say, I don't want to stick that needle into my body, or I don't want to, I don't want to get the jab sticky, whatever the fuck, right? You ain't gonna get me to say that. You're not gonna get me to call it a jab, but look, man, you can't convince me to fucking take it. Now again, still to this day, like I fight with that idea every single day. It's like, if that happens, what do I do? What will I do? You know?
Right.
It's tough. It's tough.
It depends on the severity of, I guess, like given situation. You know, I guess it's just gonna be what it's gonna be at that time. That's kind of how I'm seeing it. You know. Yeah, man. I guess I'll close it out just by saying, like, think for yourself. Come to your conclusions. And also, let us know what you thought about realities being simulations. And then we gave you more examples of the simulation after that. Stay tuned for more shit. We got some more interviews in the works. We got some more podcasts in the works. We got some more solo videos in the works.
And shout out to everybody that came through tonight, man. This was awesome. This was awesome seeing the kind of turnout that we had tonight, man. This
shout out to everybody who came through.
Shout out to the return of Elise and the return of Jonah from America, and to the return of Creed Link and the return of, well, I guess that we had a couple other new people too. So make sure you guys hit that subscribe button, man.
Yeah, shout out to Leslie Sweet and Lilo's Way as well. Some new listeners. I hope y'all end up subscribing, and because we got a lot more fire shit.
Yeah,
that's for sure.
Facts.
But yeah, man, I'm about to pull up there was a song I wanted to fucking play. I want to pull it up before I fucking close up, but the like smooth flow effect of that. Oh, I found it. Yeah, man. Thanks for watching. So, Contemporary Comrades. Stay tuned for more fire. And we're gonna close it out with a little bit of music. If y'all want to jam out, we can jam out. If not, we'll catch y'all on the flip. Peace.
This is bringing out bangers tonight.
Yeah, man.
Peace out.
Peace.